Hi, everybody. My name is Grace Mathis, and I am here with Amy Elizabeth. This is Amy. She is the founder and director of Aimed Dance, like aimed, like Amy, except like aiming an arrow. And so we have to pass this mic back and forth, and so it'll be a little disjointed. We're just gonna have to do some. Anyways, we are very, very fortunate to have Aimed Dance in Southeast Texas. There's nothing like it. There are dance companies and a ton of dance studios. There's dance all over Southeast Texas, but we do not have a dance company like this, and it is focused on modern dance. And we're here just finishing up the 2023 Aimed Dance Summerfest. So I'm going to be asking you about the pieces you have choreographed for the performance tonight, but I also want us to dig in a little bit about Aimed Dance, what it's about, why it's here, about you, etc. So let's start out, Amy Elizabeth. Where are you from, and what is your history of and relationship with dance?
Absolutely. So I actually am originally from Southeast Texas, and I grew up dancing in a one-room studio in Finette, Texas, Benita Jennings School for the Performing Arts. I too started what would be considered late at 10 years old, and I was on my high school drill team all 4 years of high school. And I was introduced to modern dance when I entered college and took Modern 1 for the first time. Which actually I was not introduced to modern immediately. I attended an alumni concert event. And I was actually assistant stage managing this concert event. So I'm backstage on the side supporting the artists. And one of the alumni stepped out onto the stage with this red chair. I'll never forget it for all of my life. And I was mesmerized. I had never seen anyone move like that. I had never even fathomed that that could be dance. And it was mind-boggling, right? It's what when you have a definition of something and you think you know what something is, and then the world comes and swipes you upside the head and says, you only thought you knew. And from that point on, I fell in love. It is a language. And yes, I consider it very human. It is a human language. To me, modern dance takes us back, for a genre anyway, it takes us as far back to our primal, primitive state as we can get as humans and movers moving in our bodies. Growing up outside of modern dance, I didn't really understand that my body, who I was, had anything to do with what I was doing. It was fun, it was exhilarating, it was the hype. But once I found modern dance, I realized that I'm actually a part of this dance, and I can actually make an impact as a role. Like, I have a role in this, and my role is important. And it just fascinated me ever since, and I continue to study it and continue to grow in as many areas as I can. And then so study modern dance. And I received a BFA and then moved on to my MFA in dance. I've been teaching for over 20 years in various capacities. And I like to say I've taught age 3 to 93. And I've taught several genres, several styles, and being in this space with other people and watching them have that aha moment of, I didn't know I could do this. I didn't know I could be a part of this in this way. That's what excites me and keeps me teaching. And so, yes, here we are now. I am the artistic director of AIM Dance, and I'm also assistant professor of dance at Lamar University. To talk about the company just a little bit, the company was originally founded in 2006 under a different name that no one can pronounce, so let's not bother. And then when I returned to Southeast Texas, I accepted the position at Lamar University. I returned home to Southeast Texas, and I brought AIM Dance with me. And we have spent the last 5 to 6 years trying to understand what the need is for a nonprofit such as this, and how we could be a resource for our community. Because like you said, dance is an integral part of our culture here. There are over 30 dance studios in Southeast Texas. Very, very few young women have not at least tried a dance class. But then what do we do next? And so that's what AIM Dance has been asking ourselves, is how can we be a resource? How can we further the culture of dance in Southeast Texas? And what we've come to understand is that there is not a lot of dance past school, past high school. You graduate, you go to college, or you move on to your actual career, and there are not a lot of, I say actual career. Dance is a career. It is my career. It has been. I apologize for that misspeaking. But they move on to another path, right? So if you grow up with dance being a recreational sport, really, and then you move on to your new path. But for others who don't want to move on, they don't want to give it up, there's not a lot of opportunities for that. There's not a lot of opportunities for adults to dance. And, we've been talking with artist after artist after artist, and each one of them say, no, it's a part of me. I grew up doing this. It's a part of me. We don't have to lose that part, even if we're not training all the time. It can still be a part of us. And so creating that access is a part of our mission. And we're very happy to fill it.
No, that was not long. That I asked you lots of questions all in one. Okay, so next, please describe the beginnings of the Dance Fest, how that came about, and what it is.
Yeah. So Summerfest started, the idea started with the company themselves. So we're trying to introduce the dancers into different types of companies. And the main 2 types of dance companies, professional dance companies, are project-based or repertory-based. And so that's where our season came to be. We wanted to create a repertory-style company for the dancers. So they come in for 3 weeks, they learn a total of 6 works, and they're performing every single weekend. So 2 works each week, and the last week, all 6 go up. That's where the idea came from. So the first year in 2021, we produced AIM Dance Summerfest concert series, and it was just the concerts themselves for this repertory experience. And we offered open company classes. And then the next year, Lamar University Department of Theater and Dance approached us about the idea of combining our concert series with the Summer Dance Intensive. And so last year we added in the intensive style classes and continued that again this year. But then again, being grounded in this idea of education and everything being an opportunity to learn something or to explore something new, and working with a lot of young artists, we wanted to continue our impact. We wanted to continue investing in the now and the next. And so we developed the Emerging Choreographer Fellowship. And so we invite young artists 18 to 35, that is a young artist, with less than 10 professional works on their resume to come and set a work on the company. Most young artists, they do not have the resources to continue their craft. Resources including the space, the time, and the bodies. And then also the production elements. It costs to put on a show, costume design, lighting design, photography, all of these things. And so we provide those resources for them. So not only are the dancers experiencing something new through the process, but the choreographers who are coming in are also experiencing something new. And so it's very much about creating opportunities and experiences for people that they otherwise have not had or had a lot of. So this year's festival, we actually were able to expand the Emerging Choreographer Fellowship to 3 individuals. California, Austin, and New York came, and their work is represented in the show this weekend. And then we had one professional choreographer, Jennifer Mavis, who joined us and also set a work. And that was a really unique experience for the dancers, I think, because what they talked about was the difference. The difference with the choreographer, that this is only their 3rd work that they've set versus a choreographer who, this is my 40th work that I've counted, you know, and how they approach the process differently, how they approach the dancers themselves differently, because they're all strangers coming into this space to do this thing really quickly. So yeah, Summerfest is about new experiences, trying new things, giving opportunities, and showing Southeast Texas what contemporary concert art is. Because that is what we do. It does not have to be modern dance, but it does typically tend to go in that direction when we are looking at conceptual concert art. I think I answered that.
Okay, so on that note right there, will you describe a little bit more what you mean by that for a non-trained dancer, for the average person on the street out there who, like myself, did not take dance growing up, and maybe not like me in that they've never taken any classes, even as an adult. Maybe they've been to the ballet, but they don't have exposure to anything else. And I think that would describe a lot of people in Southeast Texas. So give an idea to these people what this is that you're talking about, concept art, and what the experience of going in to the dark theater and seeing this type of work is about and what it can do for them.
I would try really hard not to go into dance history professor mode. Sorry. Because I am, I'm a huge dork when it comes to all things dance and dance history. But I think to go back to, we talked about modern dance and the humanness of it, and I've heard people say, you're not breaking rules because there are no rules and that sort of thing. But comparatively, you know, you can look at visual art. There's several different sections of visual art, and abstract is actually one of them, right? And I feel like that's the same in dance. What we're exposed to is what I call the big hype entertainment or commercial dance. And the big hype entertainment commercial dance is designed to get your feet tapping, to get you snapping, to get you up and dancing with them. It's more about movement design and just creating an energy. So for me, concept art is that we go in with an idea in mind. Some of us go in with a complete narrative, but we have a concept. We have a vision, a topic, an idea, a feeling, an emotion, whatever that may be, and we explore that and find how to say it as clear as possible. And now I'm like, how do I say that as clear as possible? Because I hear often that modern dance isn't accessible. And I think that comes from this idea of it's not straightforward. But when you're sitting in the audience, you can feel you're trying to say something to me. I can feel you're trying to say something to me. I think that this is more than what you're doing. And maybe I'm connected to it, maybe I'm not connecting to it. I often get from my students, I didn't get it. You don't have to get it. You don't have to get it. And whatever you saw is what it is. That sort of thing. That's what makes it a little abstract. I think I could be clearer if I spoke more directly to the works that I have in the show this weekend.
Perfect. Go for
Great, thank you. So I will speak to work in progress. It's partly a work in progress because I don't think it's done. But it also, to me, watching the dancers do it, I feel as if they are processing something. They are exploring something. They are trying to figure something out. And I didn't have an idea going in, but I had found a collection of sculptures by this amazing Guatemalan sculptor. How do you say this? Sculptor, thank you. And they were the most compelling things I'd ever seen. Like, you're not even of flesh, and yet I feel something so gripping from just looking at you. And so we took the sculptures, we pulled from them and put ourselves in that position. We recreated the shapes in space, and then from that created our own storyline. But we didn't have that story until the end. It was what happens next, what happens next, what happens next. And the dancers were collaborators in this process. And so for me, I felt more like a facilitator in saying the flow should go this way, or, and now it needs to go this way, and where's the high point, and where's the entrance, and where's the exit. But the movement itself, a lot of the decisions came from the dancers and their response to what they were seeing and response to what they were feeling. And it's not really about anything. It's really not. It's beautiful movement happening in this time, in this space, with this beautiful music. And yet, each one of us can tell you a different story about what that dance is, because it means something different to each one of us. And so, yeah, there's not a clear answer. I'm trying to be clear, and it's just not. It's not. It's very difficult to talk about because it is that innate something. It's like decisions are being made, but I don't know why I'm making this decision. I feel that this is the right decision in this moment. It makes sense to me in the flow of things. And so as we're working together and as we're flowing together, and we have a clear beginning, middle, and end, and they're gorgeous. Who could ask for anything more, right? The second work that I have is actually a restage, and we call it Shakespeare, but the title of the work is actually Love Knots. And that, I went down a rabbit hole of Shakespeare sonnets. And I just started reading all the Shakespeare sonnets. I started reading about all the scandal about Shakespeare, and was Shakespeare even a real person, and who is the dark lady, and who is the young boy, and it was very exciting. And from that, I was like, this is a love triangle, and I don't even know if anybody loves anybody. And so we pulled from that. We have some voiceover work by professors in the theater department, and I created the sound design for it, and we created our own story based off of the myth of who Shakespeare was, and incorporated his own words into that, and the idea of him writing these stories, but as he's writing, it's actually humans. He's wrote these people into existence. And so we're gonna write them into existence on stage. And that's it. I don't think that I was clear at all. You don't have to understand it. Experience something new.
It's just art.
It's just art. It just is what it is. And sometimes I think we spend a lot of time trying to explain things that you can't explain. You have to experience.
Yep.
It's like, I could tell you what it is, but until you're in the room and you're watching it, you're listening to it, you're feeling it, no matter what art form. It's not even dance, it's all art forms.
Yep.
All art forms. If you haven't sat in a symphony before, do it.
Yep.
If you haven't walked through an art gallery before, do it. It's out there for you, it's accessible to you, and it is shifting. It is shifting. And in such a, positive way. There's beauty. That is what art is. It is beauty, and we are creating beautiful things in this world. And that's what we need right now, is beautiful things in this world. So that's my soapbox for this evening. Everybody go out and see something beautiful.
And I would like to interject that as an artist of multi-forms, that, beauty is not what we may think of in the Western world is something stereotypically beautiful. It is something that speaks to us and that touches us in some way. It may be painful. It may be mysterious. It may be dark. It may be confusing. But that's what art is, right? It does something to you. So I want to ask you about your company's place in the community, and just tell us a little bit about the things that you have done. You've had the fest, collaborated with Lamar. What are some other things, some other ways that AIMED has been involved in the community, and what would you like to see in the future?
Okay, well, thus far we have kept our season to a winter and a summer season because we are so involved in the academic schedule, right? So that is our work schedule. And so the 2 weeks in January is an evening length show performance created all by myself in collaboration with the company. And then we have the festival in the summer. We have been able to we did a series of pop-up performances in DB-CAD, Downtown Beaumont Cultural Arts District, last year. And so we were able to engage with the Art Museum of Southeast Texas and set a living work inside of David Cargill's exhibit. That will be the highlight of my life. That was such an honor and so much fun for the dancers. And what we did in the pop-up series was we basically took over whatever establishment that it was, and we had about 8 hours to create whatever we were going to do. So it was very fast-paced. And what I think I took away most from that particular project was being able to absorb the environment around us, being able to reflect on someone else's work and try to find how we could become a part of it, but absolutely understand that that's not our work, right? So we could collaborate with something that's already there, that already exists, and how do those things flow together. Another one that we did was actually Poor Brothers Beer Garden, and that was more so in line with that high energy entertainment. I don't like to use the word flash mob, but it was, if I had to describe it, it was pretty close to a flash mob. And that was just exhilarating. And the dancers were given permission to get on top of tables. They were given permission to move people out of their seat and really engage with the community in that way. And that was a lot of fun. And then the last one that we did was actually at the art studio at Tossie. And we took a work that we had already done and put it inside the gallery. But it is a gallery, and we are not used to moving beings in a gallery. We're used to static objects, whether it be, whatever art it is, because they host a multitude of different styles of art. And playing with that idea of how we rotate in that environment, but we saw ourselves as moving works of art. And so each place that we went, we pulled something from the environment that was already there, from their typical audience. And again, we went in and in 8 hours created this thing that happened in the middle of all these people. We're also so used to going to a performance and it being in a proscenium. None of these were in a proscenium. We were next to the art, next to the audience, engaging this close. And how is the audience going to respond when my leg comes across their face? They responded very well. But it is that idea of how many different ways can you see art and how can we engage with it, that it's not just one thing. We would absolutely love to do more with the community, more pop-ups like that. And we're looking into expanding some of our educational programming, but we typically only work with dancers 18 and older, because like we said, 18 and under, we got it covered in Southeast Texas. If you want to dance, there's a studio out there for you. Just find the right home. And so we focus on the after, the next, the now and the next. And so you mentioned something earlier about art, and I just want to like throw this in there as a little tag, is that AIM Dance's motto has been, regardless of our name, moving with purpose. In that we want to move, we want to be moved, we want you to be moved. And that is our goal as artists, that whatever we bring to the stage or art gallery or beer garden is that you are shifted in some way, you are moved, you are enlightened, you are lighter, however you want to look at it. But that is absolutely our goal with everything that we bring in.
Thank you, Amy Elizabeth. And I just want to say on a personal note, I don't remember how we actually very first met, but I'm very glad that we did. And I'm so grateful for what you and your dancers and choreographers are bringing to the community. And I hope y'all are here for a long time. I just absolutely enjoyed the community classes I was able to take. It was so amazing. And I love whenever I can see y'all. So this has been really fun, and I'm really excited to see the performance. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You're why we do this. Honestly, it's people like you and persons of our community who want to engage with us. That's why we do this, because like you said, there's not really a lot of opportunities for you to do this. And so we're going to continue to research how we can assist our community in that way, and how we can continue to build an audience of movers, however you define that term. So thank you so much for coming and doing this. And yeah, yay dance, y'all.